Hey there, I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate.
And today we're taking a look at Hike by Snowboard Games.
Hike is currently on Kickstarter right this minute, and it's doing very well. They've already funded, so check out the Kickstarter campaign after you watch our video. There's a link down below in the description of this video. But this is a card drafting race game in which you are going to be putting together your team of sled dogs. You are in a sled dog race, and you are trying to build your team and be first. There are two phases to this game. We're going to go down below, show them to you, and then we'll come back and share our thoughts on it as a gamer and non-gamer.
All right, so here's Hike on the table. Let me show you guys how this game works. I do want to let you know everything you see is prototype, so the final artwork and components may look different when it is released from the Kickstarter. That being said, let's explain how this one works. First, you're going to have a racetrack set up here in the middle of the table with the cards turned face down. We'll explain why this one is turned vertical here in a minute. And it's going to be 8 cards long, or depending on the number of players, you might have fewer than that, but you're going to have a start and finish line as well. And then you've got your deck of dog cards and other cards, and all players are going to have 9 cubes, and 8 of those cubes are going to be set up like you see here, 2 rows of 4, and you're going to have some cards dealt to you that are only going to pertain if you are able to assemble your dog sled team faster than everyone else. Now, there are 2 phases to this game. It's a very simple game, but the first phase is a drafting phase in which some cards are going to be dealt out, and you're going to draft them as you assemble your dog sled team. So on your turn, 2 cards are going to come out, and most of the cards are going to be dogs, like these 2 here. And there are 2 things to note on these dog cards. The first are the snowflakes on the cards, because the snowflakes are going to allow you to advance down the track here. I forgot to mention, before the first player drafts their cards, you flip over the first card that is unturned in the racetrack to see what is ahead as you are going to be progressing down this in the second phase of the game. So the snowflakes are going to let you know what this dog is able to do as far as racing down this track here. So as you can see, I need 3 blue snowflakes to start the race, and this dog right here will give me 2 of them, while this dog here will give me 1 and 2 black snowflakes. When you're using these dogs, you can use the snowflakes in any order. It doesn't have to be the order that you see on the card, but that's what this dog is going to give you. So 2 blue snowflakes. I might draft this one, and I can put it in any slot in my dog sled team. But the second part of what's important about these cards, it really pertains to where you place this dog in your sled, because the colors around the borders of the card are extremely important. As you can see, this dog has this bluish green color on the left, right, and bottom sides of the card, but it has this red color on the top. And that's important because when you're placing dogs next to one another in your dog sled team, you have to have matching colors. These 2 dogs cannot go side by side because, as you can see, this dog here has red, whereas this dog has the green. But they could go on this side like so, or alternatively they could go like this. That's another option. So anyhow, I would draft one of these dogs and place it anywhere I want in my dog sled, and I just simply set this cube aside to indicate that I have filled this spot right here. It cannot move unless I take an action to move it. So that's one of the things you could do on your turn, is to draft a card. The next player would go and 2 more cards would come out, and then they would take an action. Another thing that you might do is you might play a card that's in your hand. At the beginning of the game, you're going to have 2 cards from the deck dealt to you, in addition to 2 of these +1 cards. And so these +1 cards, all they're going to let you do is you can spend it to have another card dealt out, which in this case is a rookie dog. So this is a dog who's never been in a race before. He's young, he's eager, he's ready to get into some action. If you have one of these in your hand, or if you take it from the center market, you can play it as a free action, and you're just going to simply put it anywhere you want in your dog sled team, because it doesn't have any colors, it doesn't care, it doesn't have any kind of requirements about where it can be placed, so it can be placed anywhere. However, it is not going to give you any snowflakes. So this is just simply to complete your dog sled team at a faster rate than other players. It's not going to give you anything during the actual race, and I'll explain why you might want to do that here in a second. Some other cards that are going to come out of this deck are equipment cards, and equipment cards are going to be helpful for a number of reasons. The first is that if you draft any single snowflake dogs, they're only going to give you that one snowflake. However, before you start your race, you do have the option to attach an equipment to that dog, which is going to give it the ability to gain a second wild snowflake. And the way that works is say I have this dog here, and let's also say that I have this dog here. Now, I do know that the colors don't match here on these two dogs, but just ignore that for just a minute. If I had my dog sled team like this dog not only has a black snowflake, but because of the equipment card underneath it, it can gain one additional snowflake that is the same type as a snowflake on a dog that's adjacent to it. So in this case, it could be an additional blue snowflake or white. And that's how I could use this dog as we progress down the race. Now, the other thing that the equipment cards are going to be good for, some of the cards in the racetrack are going to require you to spend equipment cards. You can see here this particular one is going to require not only a blue snowflake, but that you also spend an equipment card. And if you don't have an equipment card, then you're going to have two of your dogs become exhausted for the rest of the race. And what that means, and you probably would want to spend your rookie dogs since they don't give you anything, you would have to flip two of your dogs face down, and they are no longer able to be used for the rest of the race in order to progress past this point. Those are most of the actions you can take. You can also take a dog from your sled into your hand in case you start to realize that you have placed them poorly and you're not getting the type of dogs that you need from the market. That's an action. It does slow you down, but it also opens you up to being able to fill up your dog sled team. And again, this racetrack is going to slowly reveal itself every round. And once you get to this card that was turned vertical, instead of 2 cards coming out per player from the market before they draft, only 1 card will come out. Now this is the last type of card that you do need to know about in the deck, and this is a care card. You're going to have the ability to get care cards because if you are the first player to fill up your entire dog sled team, then you say, I am ready to race, and you place your cube here at the start card, and when it comes back to your turn, if all the other players still haven't put their cubes out there, then you get to take the top card from your care deck into hand. And if it comes back around to you again, then you get a double care card. And if it comes back around to you again, you get another double care card. So that's really nice. But what these cards are going to do, as you are racing down the track, you are using up your dogs. So like I mentioned earlier, this dog would give me 1 black snowflake, this one would give me 1 blue and 1 white. And I can use the snowflakes on a dog in any order. It doesn't have to be the order on the cards. But when I use that dog, I place a cube on it to say he has done his part today and he can no longer give me any more energy. Same with this dog. These 2 dogs are already exhausted. Let's say I had this dog in here, and now I've used all my dogs. Sure, I would have another 2 here and 1 there, but let's just pretend that this is what I've got. If I wanted to, I could spend a care card and take one of the cubes off of a dog to let them go again. So I could take the cube off of this dog, and he could give me another blue snowflake and 2 black snowflakes to allow me to progress further down the track. That's how the care card works. The double care card, same idea, except it has to be 2 dogs that are on top of one another, kind of like this. So I could reuse both of these 2 dogs to be able to do that. And that's how the care cards work. The first player to get all the way down the track to the finish line is going to be the winner. And that is simply how you play Hike. Let's go back up top and share our thoughts on this one.
And we're back, and now we're going to share our thoughts on Hike from a gamer and non-gamer's perspective. So Sam, first impression seeing this out on the table, what'd you think?
It's definitely a different concept. We don't have we don't have any games about sled dogs.
Nope.
We don't have a whole lot of animal games.
No.
In general. Card games can be hit or miss, but the track was interesting. how you pick the dogs.
Drafting.
The drafting aspect of it was interesting, and I really liked that. Our 9-year-old played with us, and he seemed to, our 7-year-old played with us.
Our 7-year-old played with us.
Yeah, our 7-year-old played with us, and she got it, and she loved the dog. She was obsessed with that part of it. So in general, it's very interesting when it's on the table.
It has a very welcoming look, in my opinion. You look at it, and the colors on the borders, the snowflakes, everything about this game just looks welcoming. It looks like it's not intimidating. It's the opposite of intimidating. It's very inviting.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you can understand this game fairly easy. What was that like for you, Sam, as a non-gamer?
Yeah, it was really easy to understand. After you got past the drafting part, the actual gameplay, which the drafting is a decent part of the gameplay, but the gameplay going along the track was very easy. I mean, it's just a pattern, essentially, and matching your dogs. I think, for younger kids, our 7-year-old had a, what are the age range?
It doesn't have an age range on the box.
I think she was probably a little young.
She understood the concept, but I don't think she
couldn't think that far ahead.
Right, she couldn't plan that far in advance.
Yeah, but in general, she still did really well because she understood, okay, there's a white, blue, black. Okay, I have a white and a blue here, and I have a black here. She just could only do about 3 steps at a time, whereas me and Lance could do all of our dogs and really plan. And as you get to the end, you really start to...
It gets tight.
You stop, and when you could probably go further because you know what you need for the next turn.
And every race is so different because the cards are going to change up the way that it plays out. And I have a feeling that every race you're going to be looking at the last card because the last 6 spaces, in our case, they were all blue. And so you can only use your blue dogs on that. And so it's like, I got to get to the end, but I'm crawling towards the finish. And maybe thematically that's your dogs are just getting tired and you are trying to get to the finish, but everyone is just so tired. I thought that was really cool. It makes for exciting finishes in this one. By one.
I won.
But yeah, this is, in my opinion, this is a fantastic race game because it's not just racing. So many race games are push your luck, or it's all about just kind of being in the right place at the right moment kind of thing. And this one is not. It is dependent upon your ability to recognize the pattern, planning for that pattern, or finding a workaround with those equipment cards and the single snowflake dogs. There's a lot of strategy in this, but it's not a heavy game, right?
No, I think it's a really good introduction to card drafting and some of that strategy and thinking ahead, things like that. I think it's a good starting point for a non-gamer, but I think it has enough in it to be interesting for a gamer as well.
And it plays up to 6 players, which I thought was really cool because so many games are 2 to 4 players, 2 to 5 players. This plays all the way up to 6. And I think with that many people, it just ramps up the excitement because you're having that many people race down the track, and the competition is going to increase with that. And yeah, I think this is a fantastic little game. The track does take up a bit of space because it's a long line of cards, but other than that, it's not a big footprint. You're just drafting cards and you've got your 8 cards in front of you, and that's it. Just a solid concept for a game here. I really enjoyed it. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it's doing very well on Kickstarter. So if you're even just remotely interested in this game, you do need to go check out that Kickstarter and see what this is all about. It's going to be on Kickstarter for just another week to 2 weeks or so by the time of this airing of this video. So you're going to need to hustle on over there and really check it out if you really want to know more about this game. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. What would you say for non-gamers?
Yeah, I think it's a great game for non-gamers.
Well, there you have it. That's our opinion from a gamer and non-gamer as it relates to Hike from Snowboard Games. Go check it out.
Make sure to like and subscribe and push that bell button so you get notifications of all our new content.
I'm Lance.
I'm Sam.
And we are Love to Hate, where we try to bridge the gap between gamers and non-gamers. We'll catch you next time.